Brothers.
It's like a Real America Voice or something like that.
Well, he does his own stuff.
Well, he's got a podcast he does on I think it's Real America Voice podcast, and he's on there, and it's like there's nothing that's bleeped. It's just on and on and on.
Well, if he's behind a paywall, he can do whatever he wants to.
Right, and the thing, and his wife has a segment on that same news program, and every time he was on there last time I saw him, and he was belching, and it was like Barack, you know, it was like constantly Barack. You know, that's his thing. Yeah, it's funny. But anyways,
he did a pretty good one on crossbow hunting when it first got ratified, because you used to not be able to do that in this state.
Right.
Recently.
Crossbow hunt?
Yeah.
Right, and he's got a thing. I don't know if it's based on what I've seen. I guess he has moved to Texas.
Yeah, basically.
By Dallas area somewhere.
Yeah, so I think he's moved to Texas because he's bitched about Texas drivers, how they're fucking idiots, which is...
It's because it's the out-of-staters.
They don't know how to merge.
Yeah, it's like...
dog it, man.
It's like fucking idiots. You know, there's...
You don't stop in the middle of the highway.
Read the sign, slower traffic, get to the fucking right.
They slow down trying to merge onto the highway.
Oh, you speed up, God, dog it.
Yeah.
Tennis is the worst unless you want to get killed by an 18-wheeler.
So he has a thing. It's I forget what he has a thing for veterans, and it's something campfire. Anyways, check it out. It's really cool. And Ted Nugent stuff. I would definitely
Sounds
love
like
to
a
go
good
do
commercial. So we're spokesman for the Ted
Nugent campfire.
The Ted Bundy campfire.
Yeah, Ted Nugent campfire, smoking meat and pegging them with the bow.
The Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour.
No, that's not what I said. But
it sounded like what he said. He said Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour.
All right, guys, the Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour. Actually, that's probably pretty.
That one we could probably pull off.
Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour.
The Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour.
Yeah, and
welcome to the Ted Bundy Volkswagen hour.
Brought to you by Possum Potted Meats.
Possum Potted Meats. Sorry, buddy.
But Buddy's Possum Potted Meats.
He's the spokesperson.
Buddy the possum.
Yeah.
Little Billy Bubbity Boo, the possum.
Well,
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? What do you think about that? Get away from the chopper. There's a bomb in there.
We are going nowhere on this.
That's the best kind. Yeah, really.
Well, so what do we got on the horizon for the Reed brothers?
The sunset. The sunrise.
Today, the sunset. Yeah, that's going to happen.
So we are getting into the hottest time of our year.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Dude, June 21's already done. The longest day of the year is done. We're past it.
No, we're not. We're
longest day of the year.
Longest day. Now we're getting into the longest season, which is this. We still got to get through the June, July, August, September, and I'm probably based on this. I'm thinking we're not going to see, because we're a month late. I think November will be the first month that we'll start seeing a change.
Well, that's gonna really screw up hunting.
Yeah.
If you don't have,
not at my house.
Yeah.
Fair point. But if you don't have a good cold front to push the deer around, if you don't have a good cold front to push the dove around, it really impacts the season.
Yeah. I mean, because
I don't like eating pig that I shoot in the summertime. Mrs. Tommy and I were talking about that, and she said it tasted different. I was like, you mean my pork? Right. My pork tastes different? No, not your pork, you buffoon. She didn't say buffoon. She had another word.
Dumbass.
Pretty close. But it's
pendejo,
and yeah,
cavrone.
Yeah, I get that one a lot.
Pinche cavrone.
Cavrone.
Pinche huevo.
Okay.
But yeah, it's something about the summertime and the especially animals that are prone to eat trash and other animals, and there's a different flavor to it.
Like the shark.
Ugh.
Sharks, they only bite when you touch the private parts.
They've got dead eyes, like doll's eyes.
Keep going there, Tommy. Keep going. Keep going.
Work through it. Work through the pain.
Ignore the Dwayne. Just keep going.
And ignore the little troll. It's just, and pigs are nasty to clean to begin with. And the summertime, they're coated, they're muddy, coated in ticks. It's just nasty. And the larger ones tend to eat just about everything they can get their face into.
The ticks?
Those two.
Anything really.
Yeah, the big the big boars I just don't have. You like 100-pound little sow, like a heifer. Of course, I don't think you call a female pig a heifer, but a little sow.
You can if you want to.
You can call it whatever you want to.
Yeah,
you'll appear to be a dumbass, but you can do it.
A stupid, ignorant redneckard.
So,
is it rednecked if you run around with just your shorts on?
it could be.
I'm just saying.
You got a car in the front yard propped up on bricks.
You got a TV stacked on a non-working TV.
You got a toilet or a tub that's up on its side in the front yard.
You got a toilet in a tub. Beat that one. That's like a downhill
Dude,
swallow.
there was a time in my life when I was at my house. We were doing some remodeling. There were 2 toilets outside, both broken, and a cast iron tub.
I are a redneck.
I shit you not. I went and put it up in the front yard and put a Virgin Mary in it, man.
You
Shit
gotta,
you not.
You gotta fill the bowl full of dirt and put a flower in it.
All right. So we talking about plumbing or hunting? That's
Either way,
it all works.
Hunting in non-indigenous or invasive stuff, I guess it depends on what it is. So if you're, because you can, those red dove, those
indigenous, like Aborigines.
No, you can't hunt.
Well,
Aborigines
and the thing
here.
is what we like to do.
Well, you and I don't care. We'll shoot it and burn it. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I mean, I
This
want to
one
shoot
eats
hogs,
everything.
and that's fine, and I respect that. And the thing is, when I go to his place and I shoot something, it's going to be something I'm going to consume at a later date. If we go out to Sir Charles's place, it's going to be something we obliterate.
Yeah, that you take it and get it processed because that's 6
exactly.
hours getting out of there. So
Right.
unless you get some dry ice to pack it in, but you really, when you're talking about big feral hog, you really want to get it processed by somebody that knows how to cut meat.
Right.
It's nice to know how to be able to do it, but it's different if the guy's got an entire meat shop with the bands
Right.
and everything.
And
So
he can.
yeah.
Okay, we can
search out somebody that knows how to cut the cheese.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And in the town of Rock Springs, there's really not a lot of people to choose from.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I mean, Rock Springs is really small.
I would think there'd be at least 2.
At least, okay. So now you're
Repeat.
It's 50% chance you're going to get what you want.
Last I checked, there's nobody in my hometown.
Really?
Yeah.
When I go hunt in Albany with a buddy of mine off of his place, Albany's got a one-stop. You just pull in, drop it off, tag it, fill the paperwork out, come back in 4 weeks, and it's all boxed. You just tell him how many pork chops you want, how many, how
really?
you want to cut up. And it was, I brought in 400 pounds of meat, ended up paying like $170.
So what did Baby Lee do when he shot that deer at your place?
He took it somewhere. I don't know, but they
It was there. It was there, right?
New Braunfels.
Yeah, I don't know where he took it.
He took him to Braunfels?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yep. Stuffed it full of ice.
I've got processors 20 or 30 minutes away from me, but nothing there in the hometown.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's like, I think a lot of people, I know for me, doesn't know, but I think a lot of other people may not know. It's like when you shoot something, what's your timeline between shoot and actually having it processed?
Couple hours.
And it's like, okay, what should you do from point A to point B, and yeah, that's kind of what
depends on the animal too. So something like a deer or a coos deer or a red stag or they're all any of the goat variety, something that you'd shoot. You can drain and let the blood go out, and the meat's not going to go bad as quick as something like a feral hog that's just going to get it's borderline rotten when you
it's going to ferment immediately.
It's just get nasty. Well,
I think it just having. If you're going to go do that stuff, my opinion is, people go out and they'll field dress it, right? Just gut it. And
yeah,
then,
that's saving yourself some time.
Usually, it's in the
cool
winter
off.
months.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry so much about that.
That's when it's hot.
If you're in situations where, fortunately we are, where you can take an axis deer year round, you're going to want to process it as quickly as possible.
Right.
And, that's why whenever I do it,
it's hot.
I chop them up and I put them in ice chest with water or ice.
Yeah, you want the blood to get out of the muscle tissue.
I at least 24 hours, bare minimum.
Get them quick. Now, if you could take it and let it drain. So if you had like a big box freezer, take it and hang it something that's below 40 degrees,
right,
and let it drain out on its own. Kind of age it a little bit. That's not bad, but you still.
My personal experience, my preference is to chop it up,
get it processed,
quarter it, not completely, just get it into quarters and separate it into pieces and major meat groups. Get it on ice in an ice chest, and then just leave it in there, at least 24 hours. At least, bare minimum. All the gaminess is gone.
So after the 24 hours, what would you do?
Then you could take it and start chopping it up and put it into
ground meat.
Grind it up, make stew meat, make steaks, whatever you're going to do with it after that. But my experience has been, again, chop it up, put it in a ice chest with ice, water.
Let it set for 24.
Let it set for at least 24 hours.
What's the max?
As long as you got ice, it could be weeks.
As long as it stays cold.
Yeah. Okay.
So the closer to freezing you can get, the better. I don't think freezing it. Well, my dad was one of the people that would freeze it right off the bat. I'm with him. See, he's shaking his head. I don't agree with freezing it like 35 degrees for a week, and let it dry out, and kind of age a little bit, and let all the blood settle out of the tissue.
So I'm guessing what you're saying is like put it on ice and let it set for as long as you can, and let it bleed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get everything out, and then that way all of that blood is gone.
Yeah,
and then you can drain it off, and then you have just wholesome meat.
If I've got time, I will drain the blood off that it's in, and then put more
ice
and more water, and let it go. If I've got the time, and where I'm at now, I've got the time. So
right, and that makes sense. That way you let everything bleed off, and you drain it and redo it, and just let it do this thing.
And I've never had an issue with gamey meat.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how dark some of the stuff is.
And the thing
doesn't taste gamey to begin with anyway. It's the whitetail is where you get some of those old bucks.
And I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't shoot an old deer.
So you don't shoot an old deer. When you shoot a deer, what are you going to shoot? Dwayne, what are you going to shoot if you don't shoot an old deer?
I shoot a hot, creamy load right in its keister.
Boom, just like that. Those little pellets, just washing around while I'm in there.
Dude, you're like so gay. You're so gay.
You're so gay. You're a gay boy.
I like something 1 or 2 years old, very young, preferably a doe, not a buck.
Okay.
I like them youngins.
And it definitely tastes better.
I think so.
Yeah, if I'm shooting for meat, I'll go for a middle-aged doe. So preferably one that's at least had a calf.
So if you're going for the big ass mounted, got this big rack,
borderline trophy hunting at that point.
Don't expect a good bunch of meat.
Yeah,
you're doing it for the trophy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Generally speaking.
Now you can get a good trophy deer.
You get an 8 point.
And it's younger time, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll be okay, but you know, when if I shoot a buck that's got horns, I'm shooting the horns, not the buck.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I don't shoot for I'm hungry. I need to eat.
Yeah.
And I want it to be good. So, if I shot a deer
and
that
every
had
piece of
horns,
meat that he's shot and cooked is like fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that.
He's good with his meat. He's just so tasty and flavorful. It's just awesome.
It's nice. It's tender. It's not chewy and nasty and
just chewy.
flavorful.
Just melts in your mouth.
Doesn't have
just
that
goes all over
funky
your
flavor
tongue.
in
Just
Oh my God, that's good.
But that's just me, and I don't take. I process it myself.
The wife's gonna kill me.
I can grind up my own meat.
Can't believe you did that. You did that and you recorded it and then you put it on YouTube.
Red stapler.
It's my red stapler. Go ahead.
Where were we? What are we talking about?
We violently cut you off.
Now,
Violently cut you off because you're just screaming and you're just shooting a hot load.
No, actually, this is good. This was good because.
Hello, McFly, you bastard.
Yeah, babe, I know. She just called him. I'm good. Okay, thank you.
Go downtown and get 2 blowjobs. Bring me back one.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Sure. I'll hold on to it. I'll keep it nice and warm for you in the bag.
Well.
And cleaning red meat is not the same as cleaning fish because fish will go bad on you pretty quick too.
Fish. So. Red meat. Okay, we're talking about one thing. Let's just keep it to that. Because fish.
Why?
Because I thought we were talking about deer and hogs. Deer
and hogs, man. That's what it was.
The other pink meat.
Yeah, I mean, so there's been times in my life. It's like, okay, you take a wild hog and you take the meat and you let it soak in milk.
Buttermilk specifically.
Is that what it is? Okay. I was young when it happened.
It's supposed to make it less gamey.
Does it work?
I've never done that.
Okay.
I don't know how much of a wives' tale it actually is or not.
I've seen people do that, and I was like, ew.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to bread it shortly thereafter, it would make all the sense in the world. Personally, I like to soak meat in red wine or beer to try to break some of the muscle tissue down a little bit, especially if it's an older pig.
And then drink it.
So does it really break it down? Does it really break it down though?
Supposed to. The enzymes in the alcohol are supposed to break the meat down.
That's what the old wives say.
Yep.
So they said the same thing about what, buttermilk? But we don't like that because it doesn't have an alcohol content.
Well, I know what I know. I know what I've done. I know what works for me. And I know I've never just shot a hog in the wild and ate it. But you know, I have trapped hogs, and I will feed them corn for several days, corn and water.
Right. Get them clean,
get them
nice.
Cleaned up a little bit, and
then
because if you're just hunting feral hog, you don't know what that hog's been eating. And
if
it's been eating trash.
I understand what Dwayne's saying, and you're correct. That supports what he's saying, man.
But the last one I trapped, it was a nice, probably 50, 60 pound young male. Fed him corn for 3 or 4 days.
And ate its fries. He went for the fries.
50, 60 pound young male.
Big old cod sitting up underneath that thing, and ate it.
I hung him up. I did the do.
We are fucking pathetic.
It is Tuesday.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
Is it Monday? It's Monday, I think.
Close enough. Whatever. Nobody's keeping score.
We're still in the month of June. I know that.
Allegedly.
So that's what they told me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but that's what I know. That's what I've done. I've experienced that, and it worked for me, and that's what I know.
So I've had all the above. I've had the hog straight from the bone to the table. I've had it in the milk because my dad was like, "Okay, we got to do this. We got to do this," and it was as you hear things, you do things. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, let me see if that's true, and they do it. So I've had all the different ways of that, and it's
I've always wanted to try it smoked. You let it sit in some kind of teriyaki. Just let it float.
Maybe we should do that. We should go get a hog and just do exactly what we're talking about.
Well, let me tell you guys something. If y'all remember this, between Carrizo Springs and Eagle Pass,
right,
just outside of Carrizo Springs,
right.
You remember there were some graves there right by the road, historical landmarks, people buried right there. Things were marked there. Those were some of my ancestors that ate wild hog on a wagon train.
Really?
On a covered wagon coming into Carrizo.
So is that a good sign or bad sign?
Well, they ate wild hog and got sick and died from it.
So we don't go there.
Don't eat it on a grave anyway.
I'll tell you what's also funny about that, since I brought that topic up.
Yeah, way to go, Debbie Downer.
There was some city people there said, there ain't nothing there. And they started digging around in there. And they said, don't dig there.
Yeah.
That's a gravesite. And no, that's old wives' tale. And they're digging there, and guess what they dug up?
A bunch of bones.
People bones.
Oops.
Oh my God.
So they had to make it a real cemetery thing.
Every pig that I've shot and ate, I rested at least a couple of days. And before I cooked it, it was frozen, and I thawed it out. And I didn't thaw it out in a microwave or anything. I thawed it out in a big boiling pot with red wine and Worcestershire sauce and just whatever I wanted to brine it up with, and then
a bottle of vodka.
I don't know. That
kill everything.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
definitely kill all the cooties, and they do have cooties. So
yeah, I know.
Watch that.
I know.
And I don't know. I've always wanted to, after doing that, smoke one, cook it kind of like a brisket.
Oh,
well, I don't know. Keep the paper wet. I don't know. Tube. But smoking it, smoking like spare ribs or something would be pretty good. I don't think you could smoke. Can you smoke a butt steak?
You can smoke anything.
Yeah, I can tell you that from experience.
Dude, you can smoke anything. All you got to do is
paper around it. Well, I just meant a big, giant, thick. You'd take you forever.
It's going.
What?
The plane is going down, man.
Whatever.
Reed Brothers.